This week on Zen and not Zen, BroTime, BroTime, BroTime.
Yeah, like the I Ching, you gotta say a little prayer to it, say what's up. Appreciate the energies.
I'm sure we had something
Crack it
like that
open.
for the Bible. I might have blacked out and not remembered.
Yeah, see, I mean, I feel like that should have been like a little pre-prayer,
Yeah,
like
I'm
the
sure we had like a
pre-chorus.
collective
Yeah, right?
nod or whatever, something
Collective
like that.
nod.
You good?
The,
You
the
good?
Bible?
You good?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hold your breath. Here
We're
we
nodding
go.
for God. Yes.
Okay,
Gonna get it out for God.
So I mean,
BroTime.
yeah, no.
Keith Sweat, right?
Oh,
Keith
okay,
Sweat.
Steely Dan.
Keith Sweat.
I'd go see a Keith Sweat
Fuck yeah,
Steely
man.
Dan
Go get
concert.
Keith Sweat. He's always down for a gig in the south of Seattle.
Yeah, he is. He's always at the casinos. I see him at the casinos.
Always,
No,
like
but
every
see-
summer.
See, that's the thing is I sold the tickets, so I'll get the $300. But this is like they've already been sold. I
Right.
don't get them, and it seems like a very unfair system.
Yeah. Well, John Oliver literally just did one of his segments about Ticketmaster
So
and
fucked.
how like it's
They own the
completely-
venues.
They
They
own
own-
everything, and I
Yeah.
didn't realize like
Yeah, it's a big monopoly now.
yeah, and like their own artists can't get paid, so like even like Lizzo's waiting on checks and
Like,
shit.
I don't think I was able to actually sell it until I reached a certain amount for the ask. Like I tried to sell it for 140 and it wouldn't let me. I tried to sell it for 145 and it wouldn't let me. And then I sold it for 150 and it would let me. Which is also I also think that's them like putting probably a artificial. This is just all speculation, but just artificial bot on like that ticket because they were decent. They were good fucking seats.
Yeah.
Like I got them like months ago. I knew they
Yeah.
were gonna be good. Cause who gives a fuck about Steely Dan when in like middle of November? Like, hey, honey, 7 months from now, you wanna go see fucking Steely Dan in Auburn? Said fucking nobody.
What if I
Fucking
throw in
Steely
Steve
Dan.
Winwood?
Are we rolling right now? Because I don't want to do. Oh shit.
You can cut
Talk
this
shit
out.
about Steely Dan, man.
Well, okay. Well, fucking I don't. Well, one of the dudes died late. One of the dudes is late.
Oh.
Which
Yeah.
is unfortunate.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
that's
not
unfortunate.
besmirching the passing
Yeah,
of
yeah.
one of them.
Well, okay, so
So it's basically
disliking the
Dan
band
now.
doesn't mean you have to dislike the humans.
Of course,
right?
of course.
It's just
not
the music
like
that they make.
Yeah, no,
you
that's
know?
fair. It's not like
That's like how I feel about Sting. I approve of everything he does.
it's not like,
I don't like listening to his music, but I think
Fair.
Sting's like Brad. Okay,
Yeah,
True
he's a dope
professional.
guy,
yeah, he's an
yeah.
awesome dude. I
So,
wish I
like-
liked his
Very
music.
music-
So actually,
very
this would be
musical
and
this would be a
talented.
good. This would be a good.
Does ayahuasca. He's
So
a great
here you
guy.
go. Here you go.
Yeah.
So actually, now think about it, I was gonna say like, what would be an example of an artist? It's like ooh, and I already just came up with one, and it's I got friends who won't watching Neverland because they like Michael Jackson.
Okay. All right.
yeah.
Yeah.
But so that's like the Steve Jobs of music or like the Larry Ellison of Oracle of music.
Right. Yeah. Well, in the yoga community, it would be the Bikram.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Bikram is a guy that not developed. He took a bunch
Marketed,
of poses.
like,
Yes, he took
created
a bunch
an
of
empire.
poses exactly, and put his name on it and marketed that to the world. And through that, a lot of people got a lot of very cool help with yoga, and that was great. But Bikram himself also manipulated a lot of people, took advantage of a lot of people, raped a lot of people, and he's still doing all this. So people got a lot of really good assistance from the practice that he was offering, but also a lot of people got hurt very, very badly by this human in general.
Yeah, it's like it's just one of those things. Like all these dudes, it's always dudes usually.
Always dudes.
It's always
I mean-
dudes. It's always dudes. But it's just like all of them eventually just have to just they always get a usually above average amount of tail thrown their way, but always end up just like that's not good enough.
It's just never
Right.
enough.
It's just never enough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the
a
kid
power
getting a
thing,
second
yeah.
slice of pizza when
It's
he already
truly
has pizza.
insane to me.
Yeah.
Fucking shit.
Yeah, it's really a power thing, and it's tough.
Or like the
like outside
Nexium
looking,
guy.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much. I mean, outside looking in, I
It
could.
always comes back to just getting a blowjob. Like, my God.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well,
It's
actually,
always...
it's funny because I was watching Back to the Future 3
Okay.
very recently with the lady, and the funny thing is after watching that for the millionth time again was how the third one, Doc and Marty pretty much replace roles, and Doc is the immature one and Marty's the mature one. And
Right.
That's kind of
The third one is out, the Western one?
The Western
yeah,
one,
yeah.
The flying train
Yeah,
and shit.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen that one the least amount of times, but I
know, but
remember
it's
watching
a
it.
handful of
Fuck,
times
now I
that
don't even
one.
remember what I was saying.
So,
and
no,
just got
no,
distracted
sorry,
by Flag Train. Doc and Marty.
Doc and
How
Marty
they
switching
switched
places.
roles,
It's
and he
all
was the
gone
immature
now. It's
one.
all gone now. See, kids, I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say that is 100% due to lifestyle choices. So I sit here in my fucking Big Lebowski sweater. I'm like,
It
oh,
is a
jeez,
Big
maybe
Lebowski sweater.
maybe if I didn't burn so much, I would have been able to connect that Back to the Future thought. Fuck.
Dude, I used to have a
could
really
edit
good
that part
memory, and I don't think I smoked that much weed, but my memory is like not what it used to be. And I remember thinking like, oh, this is great. I'll have a great memory for the rest of my life. I'm just one of those people that remembers things.
Shit.
I'm like, I
used to think,
Never
like, oh no, I
slept.
gotta watch out for this. Like when I was like 17, I'm like, oh no, I'm fucking up my brain. I'm like, I'll
Yeah,
just take it.
yeah, it's
I'm
fine.
taking it in stride.
Future Robin could deal with that.
Future Robin would have a podcast where he forgets to stop talking about a thing I'm truly passionate about.
I'm still haunted that it took me like 15 minutes to think of Gene Smart's name. Like I still wake up at nightmares and being like, the fact that I couldn't pull that out of my brain scares me. It makes me feel like my mom.
I don't even know who that
like,
is.
I would see my mom struggling with like, oh, what's her name and who's you know who I'm talking about, the girl with the girl, and I was like, oh my god, I'll never be like that, and now I am.
No, we like that.
That only you can prevent you. That's very it's fucking good for a reason. That insurance campaign with the only you can prevent you from being your parents. Fuck that. So
Those are we're not gonna lie.
As a follically-
they do some great fucking commercials.
As a follically challenged individual,
Should've left home
there's
earlier.
a dude with red hair at work, and I was like, hey, he's growing it out. I'm like, hey, it looks great. Big. And I'm like, fuck, that's exactly what my dad said to me when I was in high school. So I was 17. My dad would have been probably like 52.
Okay.
I'm 38. This guy's probably 23. You know, I mean, it's, you know,
Yeah,
a bit of a
not too far
stretch.
off, but yeah.
Stretch.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, fuck, okay, come on, man. A great flowing red hair, man. That looks awesome.
Probably about 5 years ago, I started taking brain vitamins because of that exact reason. And so I found these things called Alpha Brain, and it's a nootropic. They're specifically made for the brain, and it really helps with vocabulary
Makes
recall.
you like an alpha
I
male.
need that.
Not
Makes
at
you
all.
like an alpha,
No,
you know,
no.
it helps weed out all those neutralizing
I
free
take-
radical beta free radicals.
I take ones called Brain Booster whenever I remember to take them.
That's
So yeah,
Therein
not
lies the
consistent
problem.
at all.
so you know, I mean, I can kind of go either way on that one too.
Yeah.
You know, the placebo effect. You know, to some extent. But
feels like
right
they
on,
help.
Right on. Yeah. No, exactly.
No,
I'm
there's
sure there's
Give me
clinical
more-
trials. I'm
make
sure
me
there's
feel
clinical
less sleepy.
trials on which
Yeah.
we can do that.
Yeah.
You know, I remember one of my friends, less scientific but still scientific, memory scientific things. Maybe if I just say scientific.
Scientific
One more
and
time.
yeah, like, oh,
right. At least,
Tell
now
me more,
it's just become
Dr.
a
Robin.
sound scientific.
Hey guys, forward
scientific.
progress. At least it wasn't. At least I didn't say fuck like 6 times in a row.
Forward progress.
Forward progress. Anyway, back in high school, this is what he actually did for one of his projects. Was just like, I'm gonna test your memory. We're gonna get you test your memory, then I'm gonna get you high, then I'm gonna test your memory again. This is just like literally like what he presented. It's
Real time
like,
experimentation. I love that. Let's
Rather
do
than
it.
like my, you know, I did something like way less cool, like the ice melted. Yeah, early science. Here's a graph on how the ice cube melted.
If you switch up the variables, temperature change.
One ice cube. Oh shit.
Did you lose your track again?
No, that was it.
Okay.
I was just
That
talking
was my
about. We were just talking about, and believe it or not, the memory thing. Yeah, your memory's not as strong when you're baked.
No, it's not.
That was the whole point.
Yeah.
It was one of those like no shit idiot, like, but he still got probably like an A- on it.
But I think, you know, it may not be as sharp, but it gives you more of a lucidness to where you can like, I guess no. Well, actually, technically THC is a hallucinogen, a minor hallucinogen, but it gives you that daydream, right, where you can kind of like look around the thought instead of just focus on the thought.
That
you know? And
is
it's just,
something I do often, and sometimes that gives me anxiety, like just being in that moment of being like, what is real?
Well, I'm a firm
What
believer.
perspective of mine is real? I can't
Well, I'm a
tell
firm
right
believer
now.
though. Like you have to back when I was in college and stuff, you'd study and you'd have to take the test in the same mindset and whatnot. So it's like if you did something maybe baked or whatever, you'd probably come back to you if you're baked. I mean
Okay.
now,
Yeah.
I mean shit. Every sitcom in the world, South
you ever
Park
watch
with
Super
Tally
High
did
Me?
this.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, that was part of the concept of How High.
Yeah.
It was based off a little bit of that.
Oh, yeah, fucking.
That
Is
guy-
that
that-
second week in a row you were in
I
the
think
second
the
fight?
third, about like 3 weeks ago. We
Yeah,
talked
but
about
we're just
How
like
High.
we just try to work how high, and
Yeah,
I just
just
try to
to
work
put it in
Nancy
there.
Reagan
Yeah.
into every podcast.
Literally.
That'll be your thing. Like we need to get that fake audience thing when you just bring up, bring up
Oh,
the
actually-
Audience laughter, laugh track.
I do have one of those actually. Hold on, let me see.
on the
what
ones and twos.
But see, you guys couldn't hear it though. Because you don't have
It's
headphones
too
on.
bad. It's too bad.
No, there's a guy that did a documentary called Super High Me after the
Yeah, Doug Benson.
Yeah, Doug Benson, and
Well-
he did all that with his actual doctor, and found that his memory was actually better when he was baked, like
Oh.
due to the picture tests he was getting and like recall
right.
and stuff.
Good on him.
Yeah,
I
so
love that.
funny. That you obviously saw that one too, right? You saw Super High Me?
oh yeah,
Yeah, but he goes, I think he was up in Vancouver, BC, but he goes talks to some like very, very. I'm pro pot, but this guy makes me seem like I'm anti pot. How pro pot this guy is? And he's just like it just cuts to like
Woody Harrelson in the
a
'90s.
clearly bored Doug Benson, just like okay, fuck. I thought I was gonna
Like
get high with
president
this
of Pot
guy.
fan
Like I
club.
just need to get out of here. Woody Harrelson in the '90s.
Dude, that guy was all about that weed life back then.
So
man.
yeah, true story. When I went to Hempfest, I think I went to Hempfest twice, but the only time that I really remember was probably in 2000 or 1999, and Tommy Chong was supposed to show up. He didn't, but Woody Harrelson did.
All right.
And he was up there. He's super fucking lit. Obviously, he's just like, yeah, my reputation's already tainted. It doesn't matter. This is like
Just gonna lean
pre.
into
I
it.
mean, the internet was going, but it wasn't. You know. I mean,
Yeah.
shit. It's kind of crazy now. I mean, now I could probably just find some grainy ass video that some guy shot on his flip phone of Woody
his
Harrelson and
BlackBerry.
Hempfest. His BlackBerry.
The BlackBerry.
Yeah.
Oh
On
man.
his T-Mobile sidekick.
Oh.
That was a couple years later.
Fuck,
Sidekick,
yes.
man. I had a BlackBerry when I worked at where was I at? iPic, and then they quickly switched to iPhones.
Yeah.
Like a year later. But that was the only BlackBerry I had. I didn't like it.
I-
Like everything is just like it's.
People had to literally take my BlackBerry from my cold dead hands, like when the end of BlackBerry happened, where I had to.
Did you switch to the touchscreen BlackBerry?
Oh, that was a
No,
fucking mess.
well,
It was
I
a
had
horrible.
My
phone.
friend-
Oh
my
my
friend
I
God.
had
Jory
the
had that. That
Storm,
was, like, supposed-
which had
was
the
it.
option, but it had the slide keypad. But the reason why I like the BlackBerry is because I like the tactile
I do miss that.
keyboard,
I
and
do
it's
miss that.
it for some reason for me it just feels better.
when you were writing all those
I
haikus down.
avoided touchsong for as
Oh,
long
I
as I
still
could.
suck at it. I still suck
Yeah.
at it.
I feel like I had one in like 2011. Whenever iPhone came out, I was like, no, keeping up with the my slow ass internet with my little scroll ball.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is awful.
I was a very slow adopter of the iPhone. I had like a Google, like the first Google smartphone, the G1 or something.
Yeah.
And it
My
was
buddy
like
had
sideways
one.
and it flipped
Yeah.
up. You know,
It was
had
like
a
kind
little
of like
keyboard.
Yeah.
kicked out.
Yeah, it's kind of cool, man.
I like
dug
a flair
that.
with this got no flair.
And but I was all about that life until I got a company I worked for at the iPic. They switched to iPhones, and I got that, and I was
And
like,
now it's literally
was
one
just-
of one of three phones.
well, it was the
Yeah.
easiest
That is
thing.
nuts.
Like as
A
soon as I
Galaxy
started
or-
using it, I'm like, oh my god,
It's
that's
so-
why everybody uses it. It's so easy.
Yeah.
Like Android didn't have
everything's
their
on it.
platforms figured out back then.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because that was like God, fucking 15 years ago. 12
And there's
years
like
ago.
apps you can't get. It's just
that's
like
a great segue because we always talk about cell phones and shit to our topic of books.
my favorite books to read on my phone.
yeah, exactly. What's a great app or book of apps that you like?
Well, that's a
I
good way to
like
start
Book Fruit Ninja.
Do you do you rather have an app to read? Do you like to have the fucking book? You know, like what's your
If I'm
modality?
reading, I enjoy having the actual book. For some reason, it makes me pay it. Like I had a Kindle, like the
wanna give
old
a-
Kindles that weren't computerized. Like it's like it looks like it's just like on an actual page, like that
Oh,
first one
yeah,
that came
yeah,
out that
okay.
didn't have a sheen to it, didn't have any blue light.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that one, but anything that has like that computer screen thing, it's harder for me to read.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know why I need the book in my
I
hands.
always I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get the newest, lightest Kindle, and that'll just be like all the books I don't fucking read. It'll sit right there.
Yeah.
It'll look really cool next to all that other shit I don't use. That's why I haven't done it.
Yeah, no, I'm a book person also.
Yeah.
Like I've tried.
I don't know why it's like something I can't focus as much.
Yeah,
Because it feels like I'm on my phone. I think.
Well,
Right.
the tactile thing, and they're one of my regulars who always used to read at the bar, and I'm like, I had another one who did the e-reader thing. We just like he's like they're never gonna be able to replace opening a fucking book.
No.
Right,
And like
yeah.
the turning of a page,
Yeah.
like makes
very satisfying.
Yeah, it is.
Well, it's also
It really
it
is.
was some of those like there's arguments for
Look how far I've
there's
gone.
a lot of arguments for the Kindle. I mean, if you carry more
Oh,
than 2 books,
absolutely.
more than 2 books.
I'm not saying I'm not
Yeah.
saying anything
Yeah,
bad about Kindles.
yeah.
They're great.
Yeah,
I've
but-
got one. It's just if I am, I am not so much of a hardcore reader, so
I prefer just a small
Yeah.
paperback, like
Yeah.
the cheap,
Yeah.
like it's been out. So
Ooh, I
many
hate a
times.
hardcover. Oh, I
Yeah,
hate a
when it
hardcover
gets
book.
when it gets to that really small, mass-produced paperback size.
Yeah.
it's like slightly larger than an index card. Giddy up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
The,
just
the
below
Danielle
Reader's
Steele,
Digest.
James Patterson.
Yeah,
gas
just below the
station
readers,
ones.
because you still carry the. Is that in your front pocket? Right
Of course,
there?
man. Right, my old man Jacket comes
That-
stock with this shit, man.
Shit, was that Homer? That episode of Simpsons? The guy who started reading Reader's Digest for an
Yes.
episode.
My mom used to read the shit out of Reader's Digest, man. I used to have those all over the
Reader's
house
Digest.
growing up.
Yeah, I think I
Remember
did
those?
too.
This was like
Always
reading
in the
those
bathroom.
random stories. Totally.
Is
Always
that
back.
was that always at the end at the grocery store, like with the TikToks?
I think
and
so.
shit?
Yeah,
Reader's
yeah.
Digest?
Yeah,
It's like the
totally.
National Enquirer,
Yeah,
TV
People,
Guide,
Reader's Digest.
Yeah, like
Crossword
Us
puzzles
Weekly.
and
Right.
shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah, I think the more I downsize the Kindle and the iPad app thing,
I'm gonna
is more
probably have to
attractive,
get
but,
there. I'm
like,
probably
Yeah.
gonna have to get one.
Yeah.
But I don't read enough to necessitate one.
Yeah.
Much like a gun rack. I don't
have-
a gun.
let alone many a gun.
It would take to necessitate an entire rack.
I like being able to have the whole book in one hand and have like my forefinger and pinky being able to keep the page open. That's my favorite size book.
Yeah.
Like if I can kind of like lay back and have it just like resting in one hand
Oh,
And
instead
that's
of a huge
and that's why I kind of
hardcover.
want to get
Ooh.
that. That's why I want to get that e-reader.
Those are my
'cause
favorite
fucking,
kind.
You can get that shit in one hand. It'll be
Because
like,
you can read it on the bus, you can read
do
it on
whatever
a
the
park
fuck,
bench.
man. Do
Yeah.
whatever the
Yeah,
fuck.
there's some books that I read that are like more of the spiritual books that are like a two-hander. Like
Yeah.
you got it.
Oh,
like,
yeah, dude.
You're either setting it on a desk or if you're
Fuck.
out there, you're
It's
holding
because
with
I
both
can't
hands.
position.
Like,
If I'm going to be
dude,
sitting
there's
that
no,
long, I
like-
need to be
Shit.
repositioning my body.
Definitely.
We
So
Definitely.
probably talked about this. Were you religious growing up? Or no?
Yeah.
Okay, but you go over. So I obviously wasn't. I don't think you were. We
No.
talked about this
Yeah.
shit. But yeah, like you go over to your fucking religious friend's house and they'd have that like first edition Bible in the fucking living
Always
room, like
open,
Mine had my
marble,
name on
some
it.
marble fucking cover. I'm like, the fuck is this shit? Never ending story, like covered in cardboard.
Oh my God, when I have a
Fucking
house, I am
shit.
going to set
Tomb
up
Raider.
a never ending story book like one of those
Oh,
old Bibles.
please.
You
Oh,
fucking
Now that is what I'm
shit.
doing.
The
Thank
family
you, Robin.
Bible. Fuck
That's
all
a
that.
fucking great idea. Walking into
Yeah.
my house, you think it's a Bible, but it's the never ending story. No, I had when I was super hardcore into like youth group stuff in
Fuck
high
yeah.
school or whatever.
Fuck yeah, yeah.
The cool thing was to
Did
have
you
like
say
your
stuff
own-
like yeah?
Yeah.
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 this Young Life.
No, I didn't do Young Life.
No, but yeah. No, but yeah.
No, you're-
You know, it's kind of like when a guy answers the phone, his lady or somebody. Hi. That's how I talk. That's how I talk. Hey, Adam.
I'm very
Turn
non-threatening.
into Jerry Seinfeld.
yeah, I'm very non-threatening.
I'm very present in this moment. I have all
Yeah.
100% of my attention is
Hold
on you.
Hold on, real quick. I got another guy. What the fuck? Call you back.
Yeah, no, but everyone had their own like covers to their Bibles, and a lot of them had like initials, and so mine had my name and my initial on it, and like the
cool.
pages were gold on the outside.
Oh,
it had
that
that gold
foil.
sheen.
That foil.
And I had really
Yeah.
cool like bookmarks that
So,
were in the
this is
cover
more-
that like ribbons.
This is more sacrilegious as shit, but I'm sure we've
Flair,
talked
the
about
Bible flair, huh?
holy
Yeah.
rollers before though. You could, if you're in a pinch, you can, if you're trying to smoke
yeah,
a joint in
yeah.
a hotel,
One of the back pages of the Bible.
use the Bible.
Yeah.
But again, from alleged experience,
I love that texture of those those pages, though. I will
See,
say
that
that.
is
Don't like
very
the
tactile
content,
and
but I
nice.
love those
see, that's the
page
thing is
thinness.
you gotta make sure it's the right stuff. You can't just blanket like we just like, oh, we'll just use this, and it's like,
It's like
no,
that
was,
crackly sound
Yeah,
when you turn
no,
it.
Don't go with the King
Ooh.
James version.
Yeah,
You're
King
not gonna get the
James
same
is like-
kind of bird from that one.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a little spicier than King James.
You just fucking light it, and it's just like half of the fucking joint just sitting. I'm like, oh, that's not gummed. It's not gonna work. King James bird.
Yeah.
It's a little different. Fucking that's.
Have
some
you tried that
good
Revelation?
shit.
No.
That's so good.
I got
Holy
Job.
rollers. Holy rollers.
Oh man. But so with all the books that I've collected, we started a library here. So be able
Yeah,
to
it
like
looks
check
nice.
out the
Good
books and
enough.
shit like that.
That
And
reminds
it's-
me, I've had
You
one
got
of your
the
books
fucking,
for
you got
6
the
weeks.
checkout cards
I
and
do,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah, dude. No, and I've always appreciated.
We'll do a decimal system action.
Obviously, we worked together and we had a very positive working relationship. But your level of organization was shit like that. So
Yeah.
I was pretty impressed when I actually saw that you got those on Amazon.
Yeah, totally.
I think I was still drinking at the time, and I fucking went off when
Yeah.
I saw this shit. This is like 4 or 5 years ago when I
It's
found
just
out.
to keep track.
Like he's like,
Totally.
like I think I literally but like we're talking cards, stamps, like we're talking that fucking
Yeah, the
we're
thing in
talking.
there.
He let me take one of his books
Yeah.
home without doing that.
I did. Yeah, I didn't have everything set up.
You
yet,
didn't.
'cause I
He
just
had nothing
finished
set up,
moving.
so I
Okay,
still
well,
have it.
actually,
I'm almost done with it. Maybe.
I'm glad you're a legal pad, you 800-year-old person like my dad. You
dad
could write,
had these,
you,
yeah.
yeah, you could write down that you need to check
Oh, I
out
know.
that book.
I know. I already. Actually,
Yeah.
I've made the note in there already. I just
yeah,
got it, yeah.
after I left,
Totally.
I'll sign it. I'll
Yeah.
initial it. I'll
And
initial
so,
it.
and Monica,
It comes
Monica
from a
went through.
leather-bound journal, like a shopkeep, like a shopkeep who keeps inventory with like a huge ladder behind him. He's like, oh, those are gonna be about $14.50.
Dude, you're late fees.
Well, Monica went through and wrote little book quotes on all the little checkout.
Oh
cards
my
and
God.
Stuff. So, yeah, it's a little.
That's a
little
great
hand
idea
touch.
because I loan my books out all the time and I get them back about 50%
It's
of the time.
Yep.
it's kind of for me. It's kind of. I only loan ones that are paperbacks. And
Yeah,
that's
oh,
kind
yeah,
of, and
absolutely.
that's a one-way ticket usually. I
Yeah,
kind of
because
view it as that.
like I'll loan you a paperback because it'll cost me $8 to replace
I
it.
have, however, gotten offers from two cool people to mail books back.
Oh, right on.
Like, oh yeah, I need to,
Yeah,
I
I'm
need
down
to
for
mail that book back, and I'm like, dude, just and the first one was give it to somebody else, and and that
Pass
was
it on.
but that was the whole thing. It was just like I have your copy of the book. I'm like,
Are there any certain copies of books that you don't give to people? Because I now just remembering that I loved one particular book so much and it had gone with me on like a trip to Ghana and it was like my book that I read the entire time I was there. And I love the book and I always want people to read it, but I like that particular copy I won't give to people. So I bought another paperback and that's the one I give to
That's
people.
what you loan out. Okay.
Yeah,
right on,
the
right
loaner
on.
one. But do you have any books like that where you're like, this book I want you to have, but not this book?
Yeah. I don't think so. There's I have to think about that. But most of the books that I have, like if somebody's excited to read it, because I read such obscure shit sometimes. I'm like, no, please, like fucking read this. Read this
That's
crazy,
how I feel.
weird
Like, get on my
novel
club
or-
so we can talk about it.
Right? Yeah. So no, I don't think so.
you're
I would
expecting
have to.
all these sage like
You don't have any books that like have
he's
special
got
memories
the
attached to them?
Doonesbury
Oh, I do,
anthology.
most definitely, yeah.
He's got top 10 dumps.
Yeah, there's a book
Hey,
over
there's
there,
sections
Zen
in my
Dump.
library, and it's not all spiritual books, Robin.
It's like that Family
bathroom
Guy where
reading.
Peter read the screenplay to Caddyshack.
Yeah.
Ba-na-na-na-na-na-na, said Ty as he sank another putt.
No, I definitely have books that mean a lot to me, but
Yeah.
but again, like I think if somebody's excited to read it or wants to read it, I'm so excited for them to have that and just take a journey with that.
There's no choose your own adventures over there, is there?
No.
Really, the entire library is a choose your own adventure, Robin.
Oh.
I know you got some good ones over there.
Yeah, it's
I'm like as soon as I return the one that I've already borrowed, I'm gonna check another one out, and I'll
Yeah.
fill out a card this time. There's a couple because you have that one that we can't utter its name, right? Beyond the Pale Horse.
Oh yeah, Beyond
I
the
wanna-
Pale Horse.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
try that one.
The newest book that I've read that I'm just like really, there's actually two. There's the Mahabharata and the Ramayana, and they're both like ancient Indian stories, poems. But the Mahabharata is like 1,000 pages. The Ramayana is like 800 or so. But
fucking lame as Rob territory right there.
but it's just really
That's a hard out for me.
it goes through like all the old it's
Ayn
basically
Rand.
the stories of Hinduism.
Right.
Krishna and the Ganesh and all the gods and deities. The Bhagavad Gita, which is a really popular Indian text, is one of the chapters in the Mahabharata.
Okay.
So I just during the COVID times, got a lot of time and I love to read, and those stories were fucking amazing. Like if you like any kind of like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or anything like
Drama
that,
is there.
It's so beautiful.
Bible's so
with all
dry.
the spiritual stuff woven into it, and you got like monkey gods and like all these fucking flying demons and shit. Like it's a great story. Like if you just like the story, like
It
take
like
the religion,
reads like a
or not
story.
even
It doesn't
religion.
read like the Bible, like how
Exactly.
it has like verses and stuff.
Yeah.
I'd fuck with that.
It's
I mean,
great.
did you
It's
ever
really
just
great.
smash any of those like ancient sagas, like the Epic of Gilgamesh? I had to read some of that shit in college. That's not a real page turner.
I
I'll tell
have
you.
never read a classic book
call
unless
me
I've
not
been
old
required.
school enough.
Yeah.
Go ahead and call me not old school. 'cause
I've tried. I've tried to do like the
fucking-
Odyssey and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Fuck,
wish I could be
man.
one of those people that sits down in an apartment that has one chair
Yeah.
and has like stacks of books and just reads the
Riveted
Odyssey for
leather,
fun.
high back chair.
But I can't. Yeah.
I mean,
I've never done it
love-
unless it's been required by a teacher.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I read about 2 hours every day.
Yeah.
Like that's the way I
Damn.
start my days. I get up,
Giggity
meditate, read
goo,
for 2
dude.
hours. But there's like, if it's a book written before probably the 30s, just the
Yeah.
way it's written, the cadence,
prose.
of it's
style.
written, and,
Oh
it's
yeah,
just-
like
it's
you
so
would just
hard
you don't
for me
just
to wrap my
you don't
head
just
around.
go
Absolutely.
smash some Dickens with your oats in
Yeah.
the morning.
Never read a
No,
Dickens.
no.
Oh,
I've never read an
fuck.
Emily Dickens, and I've also never
I was
read
talking.
an Emily Dickens.
I was talking. Oh yeah,
but Charles Dickens.
oh,
yeah,
I don't
same.
even know about. I don't know about M. I'm
don't
sure
know
that.
about Emily
Well, I
Dickinson?
know about
Okay.
Emily, but I don't know about
Sorry to
the
smack you down.
pros.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
never cracked one of her books. She's my sting. Love what you do. Love
Right.
what you do.
Right.
Love what you've done.
Yeah.
For women, history,
Yeah,
literature.
yeah. I give
all
you
that.
I give
Please
you
don't
a
make me read
pseudo
Wither Night.
patronizing top of the head pat. It's great. Put that on the
No,
refrigerator.
when you have the Muppets Christmas, why do you need to read Charles Dickens? I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Understood.
Perfect.
I
Covers
got it.
most
It's
of
all
it,
good.
right? I might need to brush up on that jam too.
That's one of my favorite.
Me too. I watch it
variations
every
of that.
Christmas.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah, the only true one I watch every Christmas is Home Alone 1 and 2.
Yeah, definitely watch Home Alone. Not always two, but definitely one.
I enjoy
And then the
two
ref.
quite a
No,
bit.
get
They
the ref
definitely
in there.
just swayed, and I think we podcasted this one to death. But Marv gets fucked up like 7-1 on the second one.
A new
Yeah.
one I've watched every Christmas
Need to
since
get
it
the
came
screenplay
out
for that.
is Krampus. I fucking love Krampus.
I
I don't know
never-
why
I
it brings
watched
me
that
so
one.
much joy during Christmas time.
I remember embracing Krampus during my Red Hook
it's
days,
so
but I've
good.
never seen the movie.
It's really good, and it's a horror movie, but it's
Yeah.
funny and it's light and it's not, but it's really smart and well done. And it's like I'll sit down, I'm like, all right, I'll just watch a little bit of this, and then I watch the entire thing. It's every time it's on, I watch it. I love
I'll have to
Krampus.
check that one out. So
Also, National Lampoon's
Yeah,
Christmas
yeah,
Vacation.
that's a good
That's
one.
That one I
Yeah.
usually end up seeing just by proxy because
It's
it's just
always-
on
Yeah.
or
It's
something.
on somewhere,
You
yeah.
know,
yeah, can't avoid it.
even for someone who doesn't drink, I'll be at a bar.
Yeah.
and it'll have that on there.
Yeah.
One I refuse to watch is White Christmas. Mandy made me
Oh,
watch it one
that's
year, and I was
fucking-
like,
I do every
"Don't."
year.
I know it's
I
a
have to.
You do
it's
that
a
shit
hard
every
line.
year?
If
Was
people,
it that black and white motherfucker?
It's
it-
color now, but
yeah.
yeah, it was filmed. in
Was
black
that the
and white.
like? Or I might be getting that confused with It's a Small World or whatever. What's
It's
the?
Bing Crosby and
White.
no,
is
not
it,
Bing Crosby. Sorry, no, it is Bing Crosby.
is it the,
Yeah.
what's the
Yeah,
one where they
and,
ring
Dean
the bell
Martin.
and it's like every
Wonderful
Yeah,
Life.
is that it or no?
Danny
Yeah.
Kaye and Bing Crosby. No, that's Miracle on 34th Street.
no, it's a Wonderful Life or something, right?
Was-
Where
was
it's like
the-
every time a bell rings, an angel
Yeah,
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 his
yeah,
wings.
that is.
But I
true,
put
yeah.
that in the same category. Bing Crosby's
Yeah.
got a fucking movie. That song was a movie.
White Christmas.
Probably was
yeah.
a book then. I'd read
So-
the book before I'd see the movie.
Yeah, growing
Yeah, it's
up, that
Wonderful
was
Life, okay.
that was something we watched every year. My mom loved it, and so
Oh.
that's just something that's just kind of stuck.
There are so many classics like that I just don't. I think my nostalgia period passed before I discovered it, and so I just
So that's a big.
And that's a
difference.
big thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
If your nostalgia period sometimes
never seen The
passes,
Sound of
like,
Music. Never seen Sound of Music.
I don't need to.
You gotta
I
settle
know.
in for that one.
I don't need to
You're gonna
fuck
watch that
around
one.
with
But
that.
like,
That's like a 3-hour fucking
like it took me
movie.
forever to see
Fucking settle
Annie.
it.
I saw Annie when I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
I saw that shit live back when I was like 10, you know.
Yeah.
I wasn't vibing with it then.
Yeah.
You know? I don't think I will now. Fuck.
Well, with books, are you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
books.
that's the thing. I was just gonna say back. You know, that's the main difference between movies and books. Is most people you watch a movie a million fucking times. So, a lot of people reread books. I generally don't. Do you guys?
Yeah, for sure.
I try to see.
Yeah, Harry Potter.
I literally every year I reread them.
I do love Harry Potter. Yeah. I try to if there's a book and then a series or a movie or something like that, I'll try to read the book first and then watch the series or watch the movie or something. But I love. There was always the argument that the books are better than the movies because the movies you only got 2 hours to do what maybe a 9 to
do that
10 hour
detail.
read book
Yeah.
does, you know.
Yeah.
But now they're doing things like they're doing series about the books. I know. You know,
so
like
smart.
Lord of the Rings.
So
is
now it's
coming
an
out with a
8-hour
series,
movie.
right? It's like that's fucking dope because now they can get really deep into the
Yeah,
character
that's
development.
Well, see,
all
I
that
didn't
shit.
read all those jammers back in the day either. So it's not like, oh, how did they not go to the Cave of Sorrows or some shit? I don't know what the fuck. You know, in Lord of the
People
Rings,
lose their shit
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, people lose their
Right.
shit.
Yeah.
Like the Harry Potter movies. Like
well,
people lost their shit
there's
about that.
so much shit that they didn't include.
You can't include that much book. I mean, I'm holding up like 4-inch fucking gap book into a 2-hour, 3-hour movie.
there's, like,
you
side
know?
characters that don't even make
actually,
it.
that was probably actually pretty accurate measurement. You're like 4 inches, like, oh, that's about it.
Yeah.
10 inches. 10 inches.
I was rolling silverware one time at Red Hook, and
He's
and,
about 8 inches.
and Whitney comes over, and she goes, I need about, and she holds her hand up from the table, and she's like, holds her hand up probably about like 4 inches from the table, and she's like, I need about 6 inches of tape, and I'm like, sweetheart, you have a male's perspective of inches right now.
Fucking
That is
Round up.
fucking
not 6 inches at all.
bless your heart. That is actually 12 inches. But you need 4 inches. Sorry about that.
Just trying to make everybody
Yeah,
feel
exactly.
better.
Your numbers are all kinds of fucked up. You meant to say 12. I will give you 4. So
Oh
good.
man, but I appreciate the interpretations of movies
Yeah.
from the books.
Well, with some of the books I imagine you read, I don't need to imagine, I know you read. Some of those I can, like, you digest, read again 6 months, a year later with a different kind of head, different kind of thought, different kind of... Because, I mean, maybe self-help isn't the right word, but wouldn't some of these books be under that kind of
most
category
definitely.
usually, you know? So it's like... A lot of people are reading that with that kind of level of introspection. For me, it's usually like, well, as of late, the little shit I have been reading have been biographies, so I can bullshit about Pete Maravich now. Great.
That's great.
Great. I can dust off fucking Pete Maravich. But like the point
Put that in the filing cabinet.
Yeah, exactly. One of these days I'll be able to intertwine that into that Back to the Future 3 fucking anecdote I couldn't connect with 30 minutes ago.
Fine trade.
But, I mean, it's a different kind of reading, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I guess was my point of saying that.
Yeah, it is, and it's like, so my where I had to evaluate my reading. It was about a couple years ago. I realized I was only reading those type of books, like the analytical books, the self-help books. You know, here's a thing that I'm wanting to learn.
I can
kind of
lighten your
books.
intellectual load with books if you need that, buddy.
For sure. I love a good trash book.
But you know, and that's all I was reading. So like, and I would just plow through those to a point to where I was digesting a little bit of it, but it was more of just the act of like, cool, okay, read that book, think I understand the concept, next.
Right.
And so, you know, I went through that and I learned a lot, but I also was overdoing it quite a bit because I wasn't giving myself time to understand it. So what I tried to do now is alternate some kind of an analytical book or a spiritual book or something like that, to where I'm actually like learning or like applying my brain to a novel of some sort.
Yeah.
And even the novels like can be something
Danielle Steele.
not a trash novel, but like it doesn't have to be, you know, it can be like something like rudimentary, or it can be something that's still within the same kind of thought process, but the concept is presented in a story instead of like me trying to learn a tangible thing.
Yeah. I'm reading some Carl Sagan books right now, and it is a different kind of reading. Like, it's not an escape reading. It's more of like active, because I want to like retain this information rather than like, oh, okay, I can get lost in this world and kind of forget where I am. So like your brain does, I feel like my brain does do that.
I tend to have a problem with that regardless of what I'm reading. I read it as if there's going to be a fucking test on it, even novels. Like, it's just the way I read this shit is that I believe me, when I'm in a novel or whatever, I'm in the text and I'm there, quote, doing all that shit. But I'm also reading it like, you're gonna need to write this. You're gonna need to write. You're gonna need to write some essay questions down about this bullshit.
To me, that makes a lot of sense, because from what I know about you, you love pulling those random fucking facts out. So for you to read something, you're not just gonna blasé read over it. You're like, okay. Future Robin's going to want to make fun of this some way.
Yeah, it's a very deliberate act. So, yeah, like I was lamenting, and I'm sure we did, about me not being able to go to Steve Winwood anymore. But this was going to fine-tune because he was opening for Steely Dan. I already have a negative opinion about Steely Dan. I was going to really, or maybe not. I might be like, I was wrong. I fucking love Steely Dan. Probably not.
Maybe they'll put on a kick-ass show.
Dude, the guy I just interviewed for my other podcast, his name's Yogi Brian. So he started making TikTok videos to make fun of yoga teachers because he thought they were just pretentious and it was just this weird thing that was happening. So he got a lot of play from that, and then so he's like, well, I need to get better at this, so I'm going to go take yoga classes, because he didn't even take a yoga class. He just started making fun of them from what he saw on Instagram.
It's pretty easy.
So he took yoga classes so he can get a better idea of what to make fun of them about, and he turned out loving yoga, and now he's a yoga teacher himself.
I fucking love that.
Like, dude, that is fucking hilarious, man. But he still mocks them. Right. He still mocks yoga teachers, us, I should say. And it's really, really funny, but man, yeah, it's now part of his life.
That's hilarious.
You gotta be careful in that shit.
It'll get you. That yoga's coming for you, Robin.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't jumped in yet, man. You got a girlfriend, you got us, you got all kinds of people around you.
All this yoga around me.
Yeah, man.
Maybe I just get enough of it.
Osmosis yoga.
We all approach yoga different ways. I'm sure that's page 1 in the.
Hey, man. Yoga's not always movement.
And there we go.
Yeah, that's the asana practice
of yoga.
Oh, it's yoga's. Yeah, the hardest yoga
Shavasana
is no yoga.
Yeah. Well, there's the meditative practice of yoga. There's the asana practice of yoga. There's the breathwork practice. There's the science of yoga, Ayurveda. There's all kinds. I got tons of books on it.
I'm sure we could go back to the aisles. Oh, this scribe right here had this one right here.
Get your white gloves on first.
Yeah, exactly.
Oils on the hands.
Oils on the hands.
This is the restricted section.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you think are those cabinets behind you, Robin?
Yeah, exactly. Oil on those
trinkets.
Oil on those
Trinkets.
The book has to go through a blessing ceremony before we open it.
There are some books like that, actually.
Maybe I knew that, but I wouldn't be shocked at all. I mean, you got to warm up the Ouija board.
Right, exactly. There you go. Yeah, like the I Ching. You got to say a little prayer to it. Say what's up. Appreciate the energies.
I'm sure we had something like that for the Bible. I might have blacked out and not remembered.
Yeah, see, I mean, I feel like that should have been like a little pre-prayer.
Yeah,
like
I'm
the
sure we had like a
collective,
like nod or whatever, something
collective
like that.
Nod.
You good?
The Bible?
We're good?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hold your breath. Here
We're
we
nodding
go.
for God. Yes.
I mean, let's go back to this book. Fuck it, let's talk about that for a second. I mean, I haven't looked at that shit really ever, but I mean, most Bibles, I mean, obviously different translation. I mean, what's like 800 pages, maybe 700 pages?
Yeah, loads of translations and lost in translations.
Yeah, but it's sizable text, but
some of them
doable.
have pictures.
Yeah, sizable text, but doable.
Yeah. Did I ever? I feel like I told this story on the podcast at one point, but in 6th grade, I forgotten to do a book report, and so I just did one for the Bible.
Oh, for you.
But it was like in class in 5 minutes, and I was like, starts like the most abbreviated version. And I remember my 6th grade teacher was in Bible study, I think, with my mom, so I knew she knew I was bullshitting it. And the way she looked at me, I'll never forget it, because it was that look of like, I know. and I know you know, but I'm going to take this.
Yeah. But it's like,
Because I'm not going to shit on a book report about the Bible, even though I know you got everything wrong.
You did read it, though.
Yes, but I was in sixth grade, and it was more the Bible. I mean, it is a story, but it doesn't like read like, okay, chapter 1,
Right.
This is the story, and it continues
this
all the way
this
through.
is the thing I was gonna say with like how I like to read shit is like if I was at some mega church, he's talking to 1,000 people, it's like, and then in blah blah blah. Sorry to blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, man, he didn't say that, dude.
Dude, see, that's why we need that superpower, for sure. Just for like political arguments.
Well, I mean, are we all reading the same shit to some extent? I know there's the King James version, which doesn't burn
that
as well.
interpretation bullshit, man. You can make it. You can make it.
Yeah, no,
anything
it's
you
the
need
same
it
reason
to
why I'm not a big fan of fucking poetry. I'm just like, what do you think he meant with like cold frosting? I'm like, could just be fucking cold sugar on fucking a cupcake. Yeah. Could just be that.
Slang, man.
Yeah.
Look at
Which is why
E40,
we
man.
can't use the
E40
Bible
makes
to
words
make
from like all
rules and
kinds of
stuff.
shit.
Was that E40 who did that?
I don't know if he originated that one, but that's
E40, yeah.
Well, dude,
AKA
listen to
Charlie
E40.
Hustle.
Yeah.
E40, man, that guy makes up so many goddamn words. Half of what Snoop Dogg says, E40 started. The Izzles and all that shit. That was all
yeah.
E40. Yeah. He don't get enough credit.
E40?
But he's doing all right. E40.
Doing all right?
Yeah, he's doing all right.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I checked in with him earlier.
Like,
Yeah, what's up? You doing good? Oh, yeah, what's up, Big Real? What's up? Yeah, we're good.
doing all right.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, that was our conversation.
I checked on him.
In my head. Yeah.
I checked on him vibrationally.
In my head.
Is there a book that you wish you could have read for the first time again?
Oof. There's...
I also feel like I've asked you this on another episode,
Man,
but this
for
might
the
have
first
just
time
not
again.
happened in real life.
Well, we may have
Too hard
talked
to
about this.
remember.
I remember talking about this like somewhere here. I don't think we talked about this.
because a lot of our movies.
If
go into
you know,
books.
if only our memory was as sharp.
I was literally thinking, I was like, well, I guess we'll never know.
The first book that comes to mind is Siddhartha. That was that book's like it really did a lot for me, and I read that book.
I did read that one.
Yeah. Recently, right? We were gonna do it for book club, and then that kind of fell apart. But yeah, Siddhartha. That was one of the first spiritual books that I read that wasn't a spiritual book, like an analytical book. It was a story.
Yeah.
And it just really spoke to me. That and The Alchemist were two big books for me. But Siddhartha I read every year for probably 5 or 6 years, and it's been a couple years since I read it, but it really impacted me.
I remember reading that in school and it just not hitting at all because I'm 11, so I would like to revisit that.
So my brother, like, at one time had to write a book report on that shit, and I remember my dad just talking mad shit about it, and my brother hating it, and, you know, those guys probably aren't the right audience for that, but I didn't go into it with the most open mind.
Yeah.
You know, I personally was not the biggest fan of that particular text. No offense to Herman Hesse.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was in my 30s when I read it. I imagine if I was in my teens or 20s, I wouldn't have landed the right way.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, I have to finish this by when? Okay, I'm just reading a chapter at night. I'm, like, reading words, but they're not sticking at all.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, that's the thing. Is just like, you got excited about and are still excited about like Harry Potter. I mean, I was pretty excited about as
like
an
emotionally
adult
invested
when The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo came out. That's a book. That first one I would recommend. That's probably the only one I'd want to reread again for the first time.
Yeah.
Like
I remember
the books that you can't stop thinking about when you're not reading it and can't wait to get back to it.
We were talking about movies that sucks. Like the Swedish version was better, but like the Daniel Craig one wasn't that good.
I know it could have been so much better.
Well, it's just that was a tough book.
That book would have been a great series.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be good if somebody revisited
that. But that was like
series.
that. I was like stoked because that was like those were coming out, and I remember like buying those when they came out, which was interesting.
And truly like not knowing where the story's gonna go, and you don't.
That was cool.
And getting excited. Cool. Yeah.
That's really the only time that's happened to me with books.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I was like that with Ready Player One because it has all the intrigue and it's got all the pop culture shit that I love. And I just remember like could not wait to get back to reading that book and not knowing how it was going to end. And
since we're 90s kids, I saw some, clickbait thing that of course I'm going to click on. they re-released like all the fucking Goosebumps books and some like nostalgia slime pack. And it occurred to me that like I had a couple of those books growing up. I didn't even actually open or read any of those. And I know everyone did. Everyone did. I didn't read a fucking page.
I didn't start reading it all into my 20s. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
I remember like my mom reading me the one about. I just remember there was it was one when they were at the beach and there was a shark on the cover. But I remember like my sister and I, like my mom would read us those books at night. I remember I could remember exactly where I was sitting on the couch and what the lamp looked like that was sitting next to me. Like I fucking love Goosebumps because it was that same like I don't know what's gonna happen.
R.L. Stein.
Well, that was just a little bit out of my age.
Just
like I was a little bit older. Than
that, That was definitely me and Kinsey.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like I remember getting a couple of those and never fucking reading them.
Yeah.
But that was like what everyone was doing.
Yeah.
You know who I've never read that is it's like a cultural touchstone is Judy Blume. I've never read Judy Blume.
I read Hardy Boys.
It is so integral for so many, like especially women's like childhoods, and I completely
was that the Kid Detective?
No, that's Harriet the Spy, but I love Harriet the Spy. Judy Blume was Are You There, God? Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. It was a lot of. She talked a lot about like periods and masturbation.
Yeah, wasn't that like like a young girl's kind of teen finding herself book?
Yeah. I mean, it's like a feminist touchstone, and I have still to this day never read a Judy Blume book, and I'm ashamed about it. But it was just like I missed it by that much. Yeah, and they probably still hit. I was too busy reading Shel Silverstein.
Yeah, I kind of want to. Yeah, that's the thing is, I kind of want to jam out a Choose Your Own Adventure now. Like, if I'm ever at a thrift store, and I just see one that like looks good. I'm like, yeah, because that'd be like literally like 40 minutes. Just. Oh, I died. But like, I don't think I ever finished one of those. Be different every time. I can't read this shit all the straight. Can't read it straight through.
Yeah.
Oh, I also loved Roald Dahl books. I feel like that was my Harry Potter series before Harry Potter.
Like James and the Giant Peach and shit. That was great.
Fucking love.
Yeah.
Did you ever do the Percy Jacksons?
I have, but it was very recent. I love the first one, Lightning Thief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to check out and read the Hunger Games trilogy. That was one
You know what? That would be another one I wish I could read for the first time.
That one I've been
meaning to. Because it was so much better than I was expecting it to be. I was just going to be like, because I just finished Twilight, and I was just like, okay, I get it, whatever.
About reading that.
Don't read it. It's not worth it. But I remember when that came out, like I wanted to be knowledgeable about it, and it was fine.
Or whatever.
Yeah, or whatever. But like I didn't have an emotional investment. But I remember reading the Hunger Games. I was like, oh fuck, this is different.
Yeah, I remember,
and it is very good.
I remember before all the movies came out, I remember reading in magazines, like music magazines, when I used to read those early 2000s, saying like, yeah, this is a teens book, but like this would be very good for like people. Most adults
There's
would really
so
enjoy
much
it.
Like governmental discord,
there's all that
unrest.
Shit. Yeah, 1984, V for Vendetta, fucking kind of shit. Surviving the Game.
But it's done in such a way where it's not. It doesn't go over the heads of teens, but it's not overt in its. I don't know, man. It's so well done.
Yeah, I need to read that.
On my
and
list.
the characters are all of them are so cool and unique, and the way it's written is really great. Yeah, and they're quick reads too. Like,
Be Choose Your Own Adventure.
Did you ever read Brave New World, Aldous Huxley?
I tried reading that back in the day when I was trying to bang out like all the stoner classics, and I couldn't finish that one.
Love that one.
I really dug 1984.
84 was good. Yep. My favorite Aldous Huxley was The Island. It was the last book he wrote. You ever get down with that?
I don't.
It's a really good one. It's like he finally got his ideas together of like this protopian society that is trying to do something better, but is still being attacked and oppressed by an outsider, and they're trying to find harmony without becoming the oppressor themselves. Which is a lot of what we see now is like, even if the quote unquote underdog wins, they have to win by defeating, and it's like, why, there's never really a peaceful kind of understanding where everybody can win and just go their own separate ways. So this is a book that approaches that, and, don't want to give the ending away, but doesn't really go the best way. So
He hits a home run, and they win the championship, and the rec center is saved from the development.
It's really interesting because he talks about like the protopian society that they're in. I mean, it's based off of where we're at now. It's just this society that lives on an island, and they start giving the plant medicines to their kids in their teens. You know, so they're sitting with ayahuasca, and basically they call it medicina, and sitting with like things like ayahuasca in circles with elders at the ages of like 13, part of the initiation ceremony, becoming an adult. You know. And it's just really great the mentalities they talk about of what the understandings they have and blah, blah, blah. It's just, again, protopian, not something that's where we're at right now, but it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Aldous Huxley.
Oh, like The Giver. Oh my God, did you read The Giver?
Never read The Giver.
I love The
That won a
Giver.
shitload of awards, didn't it?
I don't think I read that
man. That one ripped my heart out even when I was a kid and read it. It's every member of society has its own job. So like there have been books since then, like Divergent, and like everyone gets their own sanction, and like what your purpose in life gets assigned to you at school, basically. And then this one kid gets the one job that like it doesn't happen all the time, and it's very dystopian and kind of sad and beautiful, and it's really good.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that one a lot.
Yeah. Do you like sci-fi? We talked about
Fuck yeah, I love sci-fi.
I tried to smash Ender's Game, which was supposed to be some sci-fi fucking... Apparently not to you guys, but that's supposed to be like some, boner jams.
The only reason why I haven't is because that guy I think is like super homophobic in real life.
Orson Scott Card.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
So the thing is, like, I've read about 100 pages of that book, and I know the fucking author, but it's like I don't read enough of that sci-fi shit to like, oh, he's talking about the, because like clearly there's some shit where it's like, oh, they're in space, so they have to.
A lot of the scientific jargon and stuff is hard to like, swallow at first. There is an author called Octavia Butler, and she's an African American sci-fi writer, and I just started her Dawn series, and that one's really good too.
I've heard really good things about her.
Fucking great.
So is it you and I that were talking about Battlestar Galactica?
Probably. Yeah. Because I started only got 5 episodes in.
tried to give that.
Edward James almost. Don't give me orders.
I can't watch that. Same reason why I just can't. I'm like, it just looks. Yeah, that was the thing. Like I went into that thinking like, I don't really like sci-fi, much like Ender's Game. Then I'm like, I see Battlestar. I haven't been like wrong about how I feel about sci-fi. Kind of like the Steely Dan of genres for me.
Yeah, it is like your brain kind of has to be in a different mindset. It's the more active reading for me, because when you introduce a new world and all new languages and names for things,
in a world,
in a
world.
What were their swear words in Battlestar Galactica that everybody said?
Frack,
yeah.
Oh God, so fucking stupid, so dumb. Edward James almost.
Man. Yeah, I know some of those other like just sci-fi worlds,
or just like Game of Thrones, like the names of the
that
towns.
was some shit.
Rough,
that was some shit. I'd never done that before.
And they all sound the fucking same.
I had never done that before. Probably won't ever do it again.
No.
Like, well, not Game of Thrones, but like I really don't watch all that like Creatures of Yore shit.
Yeah.
And that was a big
Wheel of Time, Lord of the Rings, all that.
Yeah, fucking. Did you ever read those Redwall books, the talking like fairy nymphs and shit?
No, but I think we talked about
I
Redwall
think
because I was like, I should have read that.
Yeah.
All signs point to I should have read that.
Yeah, I tried in my early days of trying to read the classics. I read a Dostoevsky book. I can't remember which one it was.
Brothers Karamazov?
No, it's Crime and Punishment, I think it was.
Oh,
right. Yeah. And it's fucking hell. Every page he introduced a new character, and then they had to call him by their first and last Russian name.
No.
And it was like every page there was like 6 characters. And it was like, it's just like, oh, and Kinsey said this, and then she said that, and then she said this. It's like, and Kinsey Shaw said this, and then Kinsey Shaw said this in the Russian name. And I'm like, oh my God, my fucking head is so fucking hurting.
My brain's
That's
working too hard.
brutal.
Holy Christ, yeah.
There is one author that
forever.
writes in a very specific way. He's I think he's Portuguese or Brazilian, maybe I think it's Portuguese. And he only uses commas to separate thoughts. There's no quotation marks. He uses periods. He doesn't give characters first names or last names. He just kind of describes them in like woman with glasses or politician or whatever. And it takes so long to get used to that style of writing. But then once you're in it, like it's like a cipher that gets unlocked and like, oh, okay, this means that they're talking and they're having this interaction, and it's so interesting to read. And I just remember my middle school English teacher when I would do something wrong grammatically, and I was like, it doesn't matter. She's like, you know what? When you're a big author, you can write however the fuck you want to write. But when you're in my class and you're learning, you got to learn the rules first until you got to break them.
God damn, that's great. Hell
Yeah, his name's Jose Saramago. Or Saramago. And he wrote, there was a book called Blindness that I wrote that like changed my fucking life. But I have a couple of his books and they're all in that same style. And it's fascinating to read.
I'm gonna check them out.
Yeah.
I don't think this would make Notepad worthy. The Average American Male, this novel I read a couple of years ago, I really enjoyed.
Who wrote that?
Chad Colton or something like that. But yeah, Ted Cruz. But no, it's literally just like, it's almost like fucking Curb Your Enthusiasm for just some 34-year-old guy, and it's almost stream of consciousness.
Yeah.
Like I'm at the grocery store.
Yeah.
The cashier is hot.
Yeah.
It goes from there.
Yeah,
like,
it is cool, like how each writer, like you know exactly their, like as soon as you start reading their style, it's like, oh, this is this person that has like clear. It's like musicians. It's
I just see this guy totally at like the Vaughns, you know. You know.
Do you ever read Augusta Burroughs?
No.
The Running with Scissors? Does that ring a bell?
Oh fuck! I know that book,
like
but no, I haven't read it.
Yeah, so he did like. So he's a very like self-deprecating type of author where he's writing from his point of view, like his narrative, and it's pretty fucking tragic and pretty fucking crazy, the stuff that he's writing about, and like the abuse and the exploring homosexuality at a young age in an area that wasn't accepting and yada yada. But he does it in a very comedic way, and it disarms it a little bit, you know.
And to do that with just words on a page and not even like tone or like how you can in a movie or a song, like
really great.
A lot of talent.
Yeah, Running with Scissors was his knockout one that he came out with, and then he's had subsequent ones from there. I can't remember the names. Like Dry was one, but they're all talking about him and his addiction problems and the
like
stories.
Heavy shit.
Yeah, really heavy shit. But like. We talk about our drinking stuff. There's still comedy involved in that, and so he still tries to write from that point of view.
It wasn't all bad.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be the first to tell you.
Times, man.
Part of it is like I have to like at least enjoy part of it.
Right. Yeah.
Otherwise, how do you rationalize doing it the entire fucking time?
Some of the worst and best moments of my life happened when I was doing drugs.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I've had some great nights doing drugs.
Oh yes. Not anymore, though. Just reading now.
Do you remember that Million Little Pieces book about the guy? It was supposed to be
South
his
Park
autobiography.
spoofed it where he fucking faked it all.
I remember that whole controversy.
No.
So it was
Wasn't
this
like
book.
A sober redemption story?
Yeah, so he
Yeah,
had gone to
shitty.
rehab
Don't
and he
do
marketed it as this was my actual experience and I'm writing exactly what happened. And he was like on Oprah and all the
It's
interview
one of her
shows.
favorite things. She took some pie in the face for recommending a bullshit
Yeah.
story, but it's like you shouldn't have to fact check a writer.
Yeah, and he was just, it was like a novel. And it was just, or someone else's story that he had kind of marketed as his own. I can't remember exactly, but I remember when that whole thing came out. Because everyone read that book.
Yeah.
Did you read it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Did you read it?
I read that.
No, I didn't read
Well,
it at all.
we're talking. I like ask him like as he like you're clearly explaining it to him. Like, oh, did you read that? Yes, I did. Well, it didn't hit with you then. I guess.
I actually don't. I don't read a lot of like new releases.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff that I read is even the novels are like
A lot
older
of
books
scrolls
or more
and
obscure
scribe
stuff,
text, scribe
Or stuff
text,
that stood
feather
the
and
test of
quill,
time.
inked feather quill.
Actually, I'm in the third book of this this trilogy written in the 90s from this woman named Starhawk. And the first book was called The Fifth Sacred Thing. The second one's called Refuge City. And the third one is like a prequel. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. But it's interesting. It's very interesting. It's written like in a spiritual kind of way about like a society that's trying to find, like I was talking about earlier with the island, trying to find a way to peacefully resolve an overthrowing of the government of some sort. It's really interesting.
Huh. When
Very,
did it
very
come out?
interesting. 93.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And then this woman, Starhawk, so she's written, I guess, this trilogy of fiction, but all the rest of the stuff she's written, she's been a pretty prominent spiritual author, has all been more, factual things or analytical books and things like that. But yeah, she's great. I really enjoy her writing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good. You want to borrow when I'm done, Robin? Sounds right up your alley.
I was thinking about it for a nanosecond there, and I just decided that I still need to read the fucking books I have.
Yeah. What's next on your list? What's next on your reading list?
Shit. Man, what am I, Sting? Oh, I'm going to read. You can't put me on the spot like that.
You said it's in your stack.
What?
Okay.
Like the next book that you're excited to read
Oh,
that you already own.
Oh, no, I understand the question. I mean, shit, there's just a couple. I'm right now. I'm trying to finish up this biography, but I don't know if I want to do more nonfiction or take a break and read Vonnegut.
I get.
What
I get
Vonnegut?
Probably do
nonfiction
Cat's
kicks.
Cradle. I never gave that one a good shot. The only Vonnegut I read was Mother Night, which was fucking
I
incredible.
just did Post Office.
Slaughter. Was it Post Office? Isn't that Bukowski?
Oh wait, no, it's Bukowski. What did I get?
I have that too.
What's
See,
the
I
one
have a
with
lot of
the-
books I'm supposed to have read.
Yeah.
What's the one with the
Same.
skull and the crossbones? Wagner with the skull and crossbones.
That's Slaughterhouse.
Slaughterhouse 5. Yeah, I got that one. I don't think I've read it yet, but that's on my in my pile of need tos.
Mine too.
Yeah.
I have books I own that I haven't read.
I do have the screenplay for Roadhouse on my coffee table.
There you go.
That's more of a daily read. You don't just sit down and read.
Yeah,
that.
scene at a time, man.
Well, yeah, it's pretty funny. There's a lot of shit that was left out of that movie.
And they had the time. They should have put it
Yeah, I
in.
don't know why. Yeah, we're talking about Yeah, exactly. We spend all this fucking time and resources lengthening Lord of the Rings, and it's just like, why aren't we just trying to find some lost gems in this 123
Let's
page?
re-release
Already
Roadhouse,
written,
motherfucker.
They
its
actually
entirety
they did make a second Roadhouse.
based off of the cut material.
No, I don't know about that. I
well,
never
come
saw
on.
it. It was Jake Busey as whoever the fuck Dalton is.
Snake.
Jake Busey was he?
No, and Dalton Snake. Oh, that is.
No, you're thinking of.
What am I thinking of?
You're thinking of Escape from L.A.
Oh, Escape from LA.
yeah.
Kurt Russell.
Patch.
Kurt Russell.
Yeah. Okay. Hey. Yeah. No,
Close,
Adam.
close,
no,
so
Adam.
close.
That was Captain Ron.
Yeah.
That was Captain Ron.
Exactly right.
That was Martin Short, Kurt Russell, and Captain Ron.
Same, different.
That's a fucking great movie that has stood the test of time as Captain Ron.
I haven't seen Captain Ron in a while.
Yeah, me either.
Oh,
I gotta
you better
recheck
dust
that
that
out.
one
Yeah, I
off,
gotta
dude.
check that
Captain
one out.
Ron is fucking
I
good.
believe it. Fucking like Kurt
I
Russell.
believe it. I mean,
I
you had me
do.
at Kurt Russell.
Fucking
Kurt
Captain
Russell
Ron, man.
doesn't do trash movies.
Right?
You ever seen Breakdown? That's a
God
great
damn.
movie.
I enjoyed the fuck out of
I
Breakdown.
really liked Breakdown.
Is that a trash movie?
I mean, I don't think it's one of his.
It's not considered.
high-
It's considered like a
high
Nick
up on his
Cage,
list.
Kurt Russell movie. But I
It's
thought
not like it's Tarantino stuff he's doing now,
yeah, it wasn't Hateful Eight.
with that fucking dope mustache. God,
Ooh,
he's so
yeah.
majestic. I just want to pet it. It's weird.
Breakdown. Breakdown was good. Did you ever see that one, Adam?
I don't think so.
Yeah, it was. Well, it was basically filmed like on the highway that we took in Tucson, so it scared the shit out of me thinking there was like a serial killer
Oh shit.
semi truck driver. It was just taking women that had flat tires. And so after that movie came out, my mom was like, "Okay, we're not taking the freeway." It's
Yeah.
like, we don't unless we're going to Phoenix. We live in Tucson. There isn't a freeway here.
Well, Kinsey, what book are you up to next?
Right now, I really want to read Contact by Carl Sagan.
Oh, okay.
I haven't read like his novels yet, and I'm reading The Dragons of Eden right now, and that's more of like a factual book of but I really want to read one of his novels next.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause I
Carl
need
Sagan's
those.
a great writer.
I've been on like an an autobiography kick and nonfiction kick, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to finish the ones that I have, and then I'm going to start that novel next.
Yeah.
Because I need to start thinking about space more.
There you go. Yeah.
Makes my problems feel smaller.
There you go. Yeah, I'm finishing up that third book in the trilogy. I can't remember the name of. And then I just started a book. It's King, Warrior, Magician, Lover. It's about the masculine archetypes.
Oh.
Kind of breaking them down and how they manifest with our lives and all that shit. It's really interesting. Archetypes have been a new
That's
kind of
the answer
new thing
I
in my
meant to
life.
say.
Also, the
What's
answer
next
I meant
on
to
your
say
step?
is I'm going to
That
finish the
one.
book that I borrowed from you first, and then that's my
Yeah,
next
that's
book.
what and
I'm
I'll
going to
return it.
finish the fucking
somehow
subtle knife.
The dust jacket will be in better condition. I don't know how the book will be in better condition when I return it, but
It's a paperback. Oh. It's already in good condition. It's okay. It's been in the same spot.
yeah, no, it's not.
Right
It's
next
not
to my
getting
bed.
fucking red.
It's not going anywhere.
It's legit. It's just been sitting in the same spot. It's just,
Amber Spyglass still only halfway through it.
Yep, all good. You keep it as long as you want.
It's like we'll need to just make sure we update the journal there and make sure we update the tally. She's got another 3
Fuck
weeks.
yeah.
Yeah, I just put out. There's no due dates. It just says out.
There's no
Just
drop
out.
of blood
Always.
needed, just
No,
as like your
exactly.
signature.
Out.
You know what you should get is the book with the eye on from Hocus Pocus.
You have an actual.
They're making a
have that.
second one.
You have a date.
I know.
You have a date
I
stamp.
can't tell you
though,
how
right?
excited I am.
Do you have an actual stamp or no?
Yeah, I don't really use it.
Christmas
though.
is coming up. Maybe I'll get him a
I
nice
know. I
wax
love the
stamp.
cards, but do you actually stamp it?
No, not anymore because I don't have an out date anymore. So it's just like you just keep it.
I
Well,
love
no,
going to
but
the
then you
library
can
and
get the
getting those checkout slips.
you should stamp the end date. So then you just have like so and so borrowed this.
All right. I'll bring it back out.
Yeah.
I
See what
got
I'm
you.
doing
I
there?
feel what you're doing. I'm picking
It's
up.
like a
foot
guest
down.
book, bro.
Yeah.
Ooh, another
The
thing
library I'm not
tactile
gonna
that I
have is
love
gonna have that.
is the library books that were wrapped in plastic that were the
Oh,
hardcover
yeah,
around the
yeah.
plastic.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
reading like
Fucking
Watership
Dewey
Down,
Decimal.
and it
Dewey
had the
Decimal
crinkles
system, yo.
when it opens.
Yeah,
I'm a
there's
crinkle lover.
Definitely a tactileness with that.
Dewey
Crinkle.
Decimal System.
Dewey Decimal.
I can't
I've
believe
been
we
trying
just
to think
dust
of
that one
yes.
off. Now
Yeah, Dewey
podcast is
Decimal
over.
System, man.
Dewey
Yeah.
Decimal. Mic drop, but I can't because it's on a stand.
There it
Dewey
is.
Decimal, bitch.
Fucking there it is. Have a good night.
Me.